Hello, and welcome to MoCo Says Create. Creating is hard. Get inspired and learn with us. I'm your host, Monica Maldonado, and I'm joined with...
Corey. I brought something special today.
Oh my gosh.
For October, for Halloween.
I don't know if I should be scared or excited. Or maybe I should be both.
You should be both.
I'll be both then.
So for our 10th episode, I'm going to hit the microphone. And then for the 10th episode, we're also going to have Monica read one of my short stories.
Yeah.
And afterward, we're going to talk about things I liked about it, things I didn't, things I actually want to improve on it. This is still like the first draft of it. I actually wrote it last year, but I haven't really returned to it. So we thought it'd be fun to have Monica read it sort of uninterrupted. We're not going to stop and talk about parts. We're just going to read the whole thing.
All of it.
And then we'll discuss it after that.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's perfect because, Halloween's coming up really close.
Really close.
Really close. I mean, what, in like 10 days-ish? Ish? Because it's...
Ish.
Yeah, like 11 days. Oh my gosh. So there you go. And when this comes out, it's going to be like 7 days. No, I'm kidding. Probably 7.
Math.
10 maybe. But yeah, I'm excited to read this. I read it once, like right after you finished it last year.
And you don't remember nothing.
Okay, I remember some things, but I don't remember all of it. But anyway, can we go back to the fact that this is our 10th episode?
Yeah.
We did it. We did 10.
We did 10.
We made it to 10. Now we can quit forever because we at least did 10.
Exactly.
Okay, so I hope you guys are ready.
I'm going to sit in silence and listen.
Okay.
Listen to Momo.
Listen to me. Here we go. You'll get to hear my lovely reading skills. Here we go. So this is titled Eat. Yep, and it's written by the one and only Corey Willis. Read by me, the Mo. Here it is. Lindsay wasn't sure if she could survive Halloween without Heidi. It was already September, and that filled her with dread. She wrapped her little 13-year-old arms around her big sister and squeezed until Heidi gasped. "I'll be back for Thanksgiving," Heidi said. She pulled up Lindsay's head and wiped away her tears. "I'll write you every week." This made Lindsay show her cute little crooked teeth. "I love you." She tried to keep her brown curls in order as the wind jostled them around. Heidi had given up on her hair. The static made the top of her blonde hair stick up like a mad scientist's hairdo. "I have something for you." She knelt down and looked over Lindsay's shoulder. "If they find it, tell them you found it in the garage. For all they know, they could have missed one." She unzipped her luggage and pulled out a VHS copy of Meet Me in St. Louis. Lindsay's eyes lit up like Christmas morning, and the tape was in her tiny clutches before she knew what she was doing. There was a clink as something fell over in the garage behind Lindsay. With a stealthy stash, With a stealthy stash, she stuffed the tape between her coat and her t-shirt. Heidi patted Lindsay's belly. "No more candy for you, honey." Lindsay responded by sticking out her tongue. The wind ramped up its howling with painful lurches of blunt force. Lindsay's tiny body tilted to the side with each gust of wind. Heidi's lips quivered. "I hope it makes your Halloween better." She gave her one last big hug and rolled her suitcase to her future dorm roommate's car, parked at the curb. Lindsay watched as her only sibling, her only friend, left her. The VHS tape slipped out of her coat, and she just barely caught it before it shattered on the ground. She hugged it before stowing it back in her jacket. Autumn conquered summer and completed its transformation of the trees into blots of orange, red, and yellow. Little Lindsay moped the same way she did all September and October. Today was Halloween. That's noisy.
Page turn.
The gusts of wind rattled their thin, single-pane windows, and there was a whistle that crept out of their TV room window. Lindsay leaned against the back wall and looked at her parents as they watched. The shop around the corner.
Monica likes to put in periods where they don't belong. Like, and then they watched
The shop around the corner.
That was one sentence, but she made it two.
I'm sorry.
Continue.
She squinted against the TV's harsh light in the otherwise pitch-black house. Her mother, Heather, was knitting a Christmas sweater and sweating. She was always sweating. Lindsay pulled a folded-up flyer from her pocket and inspected the local rental store ad. The Mummy had already been available to rent for weeks now. James, her father, cleared his throat, and she shoved the flyer back in her pocket. He was old, fat, and tired. As she turned, she saw dated height measurements for Heidi and herself on the edge wall leading into the TV room. She wondered if she would ever be taller than her. As she made her way to the kitchen, her stride stretched out like an ostrich to avoid tripping on any unseen obstacles in the darkness. A knock on the door startled her. She froze in place as she was only 6 feet away from the door. "Trick or treat!" a girl said. Lindsay held her breath and waited for the pattering of little feet to leave her porch. She exhaled and moved to the fridge. After she grabbed a glass of whole milk and a few cookies, she tried to tiptoe past her parents to the stairs. "Do you want to watch with us?" James asked. "Oh, let her be. She's seen this 1,000 times," Heather said. Lindsay smiled and ran for the stairs before they could ask any more questions. A little bit of her milk splashed onto the orange and brown carpet on the stairs. She rubbed her black socks into the spilled milk until it was dry. She more delicately made her way up the last few steps and into her bedroom. The room was cozy, with flowery wallpaper and a big military camo bean bag in the corner. She sat her snack on a metal-framed, glass-topped TV tray. It was one of the few things she had to remember her mom's mom. The glass was semi-transparent with glass pieces that were colored and shaped like grapes, cheeses, and, inexplicably, a cat. There was a draft in her room, so she checked her only window, which overlooked the front yard. Mom must have opened it earlier. Their minivan wasn't in the driveway. She squinted and saw it parked across and to the left of their house. "If you want to pretend like you're not home, you have to go all the way," she said in a mocking tone. She watched as a group of children stopped under the street lamp in front of their house to inspect their goodie bags. They were dressed as each of the Ninja Turtles. A 7-foot-tall cloaked figure approached the children from the shadows. It said something to the kids, but she couldn't hear them. As she closed the window, the cloaked figure turned to her face. Sorry. I'm going to read that again. As she closed the window, the cloaked figure turned to face her. Its face was gaunt, and its eye sockets were like caves. Its mouth opened, but there were no teeth. It quickly turned its attention back to the other children, and Lindsay pulled her curtains closed. She wriggled her body around and shook her head. Why is an adult trick-or-treating? She grabbed a photo of Heidi, standing next to her campus dorm on her nightstand, and put it on the TV tray next to her snack. Finally. The VHS tape of Meet Me in St. Louis was hiding in a box under her bed. She listened for any footsteps before snatching up the tape, running to her 13-inch VHS TV combo, and delicately insert it.
Inserting it.
Delicately inserting it. I misread things. Dancing waves of white noise turned to warbled colors. A faint scratching sound came from her sliding door closet. She paused the VHS and turned to face the closet. Hello? Clunk. Something heavy fell in her closet, and she held a hand over her mouth to keep her from screaming. The last thing she wanted was her parents investigating her room right now. She picked up her flashlight and tried to keep the beam steady under her shaking hands. She somehow got the courage to get herself over to the closet door and slide it open. Her baseball sat on the floor of her closet. She panned her flashlight and looked around the closet, but nothing moved or looked odd. She left the closet door open and returned to her chair. After she pressed play on the VHS player, she pressed fast forward. She paused once the opening credits were done, and the summer 1903 title card was displayed. I'll watch Summer in the Summer. She hit fast forward again and watched as the Smith family went about their summer antics. She missed the autumn 1903 title card and had to rewind a little and then play. Lindsay showed her crooked teeth again as the movie zoomed in on the Smith family's home under sinister music. She looked at Heidi's picture. I hope you're watching it too. Scraping crept up from inside the closet again. She grabbed her plastic baseball bat and set her flashlight on the bed so that it was pointing at the closet. She jumped up and stood on her bed. The crackling fire and crackling children from the movie didn't help to soothe the tension.
Cackling children.
Oh, not crackling children?
No.
They're not crackling from the fire. The crackling fire and cackling children from the movie didn't help to soothe the tension. Sheepish puppy eyes peeked out from her closet. She loosened, but did not step off the bed or set the bat down. Are you friendly? The dog cautiously stepped out into the light. It looked like a dog, but its hair was gone, and its paws were bony. Her arm stiffened, and she raised the bat. The dog cowered down and curled up. Its eyes were gentle. Aw, I'm sorry. She set the bat down. The creature's stench reached her from across the room. Her feet came down, slowly off the bed. The flashlight bobbed up and down as she stepped across the mattress. Her shaky hands flicked on a small lamp next to the TV. I'm Lindsay. Do you have a name? She tilted her head down. Down? She tilted her head and couldn't see a collar or tag around its neck. She could, however, see rows and rows of razor-sharp teeth in its maw. That's a good boy. Each of her steps pressed into the carpet and into the creaky second floor boards. Oh my goodness. Into the creaky second floorboards. As she approached the beast, it hunched down and growled. She backed away and steadied her shaking arm. How about I get you a snack? The beast perked up and Lindsay smiled. You know this word, don't you? It was much easier to sneak past her parents as they dozed off by the TV. They'd moved on to the Andy Griffith Show reruns. Why do I keep doing that? They'd moved on to the Andy Griffith Show reruns. A true sign of desperation. Oh, snap. Good one. Sorry, that was good. I should tell them. She rolled her eyes at her parents. Nah. She opened the fridge and rifled through the meat drawer for some lunch meat. A limp carrot lay drooping on the shelf above. Do dogs like carrots? She threw the meat and the carrot into a plastic grocery bag and stealthed her way back upstairs. The beast's little nostrils flared and sniffed. She dumped her cookies on the table and laid the plate in front of the beast. It watched her intently as she laid a few sandwich meat slices on the plate. Its legs trembled as it backed into the closet with a whimper. She put the meat back in the bag and laid the rotting carrot on the plate. The beast looked at her and then at the carrot. Its bony little paws scraped the metal side door rail on the floor as it inched closer. Its nose twitched by the carrot before it snatched it up. Tossed it higher into... Oh my gosh, I thought there was a period, sorry. Its nose twitched by the carrot before it snatched it up, tossed it high into the air, and shredded the carrot on the way down its maw. Startled, Lindsay stumbled back and fell over. The beast licked its lips with a pale tongue and ran over to her side. It scratched at her side and whimpered. I'm okay, Carrot. Sorry. I'm okay, Carrot. I don't know what else to call you. Carrot's eyes lit up, and it ran around the room until it noticed the bag with meats on the floor. It growled and snarled at the bag. You're vegetarian. I get it. Carrot finished off the basket of vegetables Lindsay had brought from the kitchen. He rolled over and lay on his side with his pale tongue sticking out. She wanted to touch him so badly, but his lack of hair and no lack of cuts and sores made it difficult to work up the courage. Instead, she sat next to him and leaned on him a little with her side. His stench made her sneeze and wiggle her nose. Next, the stench of burning hair hit her nose. Bleh! She looked down and watched as the hair grew and smoked out of its body. What are you? A tingling sensation rippled through her body as Carrot was brought back to his former glory. He stuck out his red tongue and dashed toward the mirror. He strutted and admired his short black hair and funny little nose. His ears were still bony. She could tell that he was a Doberman Pinscher now. She also sensed that she had changed in some imperceptible way. "You're so cute," she said. She picked him up and squeezed him until he whined. "Sorry, you're just so cute." He moved back to the mirror to admire himself again, and she noticed that she had several large pimples on her face. Ew! Then there was something at the window in the reflection. "Those stupid birds always sit outside my window." Carrot turned and growled. The curtain snapped open as she tried to scare the birds away, but there were no birds. The eyeless cavities, toothless mouth, remorseless smile stared back at her. The monstrous woman was perched like a bird outside her window. The voice was muffled through the thin window, but she could hear it. "That pup will murder you, dear," the monstrous woman said. The words stuck in Lindsay's throat. "Mom," she said softly. "Dad." She grabbed her throat. The fleshy, rotten nose of the monster wriggled methodically. No need to talk to them. "Help!" Lindsay screamed. But nothing came out. Gyagogi, is that right? How do you say it again?
Gyagogi.
Gyagogi. Gyagogi is the only one who can save you, Gyagogi said. Once the bedroom window was open, the chill of the night filled her room. Gyagogi turned to the side and tried to squeeze her large frame through Lindsay's small window. "If you give Cruncher back, I won't eat your parents," she said. Carrot, a.k.a. Cruncher, jumped up and licked Lindsay's nose. She wiggled her nose and wiped it off. As she thought about the name Gyagogi, a fiery sensation rattled her bones. "Liar! Your name means liar in Cherokee," Lindsay said. Lindsay screamed out in pain and grabbed her legs while Carrot had his pointy ears back. "Clever Cruncher, you'll kill her like that," Gyagogi said. Carrot scratched at the door until Lindsay picked him up and opened it. She slammed the door behind them just as Gyagogi finished crawling through the window with a plop. "Dad! Mom! Help!" The only noise was her own footsteps on the stairs. Her feet flew down 5 steps at a time. The spotty snow of the TV was the only thing illuminating the blank faces of her parents. She shook James. "Daddy, wake up!" He slumped over his chair. She put her hand on his wrist. "I like meat raw and hot," Gyagogi said. "I can't kill them until Cruncher is available to do my crunching." She opened her filthy, toothless mouth, and Lindsay dry heaved. After she regained her composure, she clenched her teeth and backed away out of the TV room. "Why didn't you do the same thing to me?" "His new bond protected you, but it's fading," Gyagogi said. She smiled and looked at the height measurements on the wall behind her. "Looks like you'll be taller than Heidi after all." The most recent measurement was August of this year, and Lindsay was easily 3 inches taller right now. Lindsay took a quick glance as not to give Gyagogi a chance to strike. "Give me Cruncher, and I will let you live," Gyagogi said. "His name is Carrot." "Strange how the dog keeps licking your nose," Gyagogi said. Without a sound, she whisked her way out through the back door. Lindsay set Carrot on the floor and looked through the back window. Gyagogi hopped over the back fence into someone else's yard. Lindsay locked the door, knowing it wouldn't stop her if she came back. "Lindsay?" Heather said. "Mom!" The house suddenly felt much warmer. James and Heather stirred, creaking and moaning like they'd woken from a long nap. Lindsay hugged her mother and father in rapid succession. Heather put a hand on her head. "When did you grow?" James smiled. "Growth spurt. Heidi had them plenty when she was her age." Lindsay took a deep breath. "There was a horrible monster in the house while you were all sleeping." Her parents shared a knowing glance. James put his hand on her shoulder. "Did Heidi leave you one of those scary movies?" "We left it alone because you were sad, but you're obviously not old enough to handle it," Heather said. Carrot felt left out and yapped. Everyone looked at Carrot. James's mouth was gaping as he pointed at the dog. Heather moved past them into the kitchen. "I'll make us some sandwiches." "You brought a stray dog into the house?" James yelled. Lindsay picked up Carrot and held him tight. "I found him in my closet." "A dog somehow got upstairs and into your closet without any—" James started. He stopped and looked past her. "Honey, are you all right?" Lindsay could feel her mom close behind. She could smell the steel of the knife. Her mother stood over with a long kitchen knife as she turned around. Carrot shook between her legs. The knife fell to the ground just as James grabbed Heather's arm. But he convulsed, hunched over to pick up the knife. Heather screamed and shook, but she did nothing as James slashed his own neck open. "James!" Heather knelt and put her hand on his neck wound. She let go and picked up the knife. "Mom, stop it!" Carrot wouldn't stop his yapping and jumping. He finally landed another lick on Lindsay's nose. "I get it, Carrot." Gyagogi wiggled her nose whenever she did whatever she does. He stared up at her mom, moved in with the knife. She nodded at Carrot and wiggled her nose. The knife flew out of Heather's hand and stuck on the wall. Lindsay grew another inch, and other womanly parts of her grew as well. Her hair darkened, and her clothes started ripping. She had a hard time breathing, but she had to help her dad. There was a new shine to Carrot's fine coat. Carrot whimpered and licked James's hand. Lindsay ran over and put her hand on his neck. She wiggled her nose, and the bleeding stopped. James choked a few times, but started breathing normally. Lindsay grew yet another inch and developed into a fully grown woman. She stopped breathing as her clothes compressed against her body. She moved her nose, and the knife was in her hand. She cut off her clothes and breathed a sigh of relief. She looked down at her fully grown body in pure horror and excitement, but then she saw that Heather had found a new knife. Once James had stood up back. What?
What?
Let me try that again. Once James had stood back up, he glared at Lindsay. "Who are you?" James yelled. "It's me, Lindsay," she screamed. She covered herself and pointed to Heather. "She can only control one of you at a time, so help me." James looked around frantically and started to shake. "Forget it," Lindsay screamed. Lindsay closed her eyes and wiggled her nose for a moment, and when she opened her eyes, she had on fresh clothes. Blah, 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 blah. And when she opened her eyes, she had on fresh clothes that fit her, but her parents had vanished. "I think they'll be safe there." She was wearing the shiny black coat and pants that Trinity wore in The Matrix. She zipped up the shirt a little higher to make it less revealing and took off the sunglasses. Her hair reached down to her waist, and small wrinkles formed on her forehead and cheeks. One lonely streak of gray hair ran down the front. She looked down at Carrot, all full of life with a younger, sturdy frame. "I told you, this bup would kill..."
This bup? What is a bup?
I'm losing stamina. "I told you, this pup would kill you," Gyagogi said. Lindsay wondered if she had ever truly left the kitchen. She ran up the stairs, but Gyagogi was just behind them. She could hear claws scraping the walls up to the stairs. She's getting desperate. If you summon me into the void like your parents, you won't have enough life left to bring them back, Gyagogi said. Lindsay ran into her room with Carrot and slammed the door shut and locked it. As she wriggled her nose, streams of gray hair unfurled. Her eyes twitched as an icy hot sensation rolled over her body. Her mind was filled with lore. The only way to kill... Oh, I thought that was Gyagogi. The only way to kill a Wendigo is with silver, Lindsay said. Carrot looked at her and scratched her leg nervously. She knew he was telling her to stop. Her bedroom door crashed open as Gyagogi smashed her way into her room. You say I don't have enough life to bring back my parents, Lindsay said. She wiggled her nose and gripped her hands around the hilt of a silver sword that matched her hair. That's why you haven't just sent me somewhere, Lindsay said. Smart girl. I still have claws, Gyagogi said. The night breeze rattled Lindsay's homework papers around her room. Her math assignment fluttered and landed between them. She closed her eyes and wiggled her nose. I know kung fu, Lindsay said. She smiled at her dumb joke and lunged at Gyagogi. The blade locked between the spikes of Gyagogi's left claw as Lindsay pushed forward. I read that on the rental store flyer. Gyagogi used her free claw to swing at Lindsay, but Carrot caught it and latched onto her arm. With a quick swipe, Lindsay unlocked the blade from her claw and cut the whole hand clean off. Carrot dropped down, and Lindsay did the same to the other hand. Orange pus leaked out of Gyagogi's arms. So you're taking over for me, Gyagogi said. Shut up, Lindsay said. She stabbed the blade next to Gyagogi's heart and then carved a circle around it. After pulling the flesh core from Gyagogi's chest, the filth and gore spilled on her carpet. The rest of her massive body fell to the floor. The heart had fallen on her math assignment. Her old, tired face tried not to cry as she thought about her classes, classmates, and her teachers. She picked up the heart and set it in front of Carrot, who whimpered and backed away. After hesitating, Lindsay picked it up again. If I eat her heart, she can never come back. Carrot jumped up and bit Lindsay's arm, but she didn't let go of the heart. Carrot, she will keep eating people if I don't end this now. She sunk her teeth into Gyagogi's heart and chewed and bit until it was all gone. The rest of Gyagogi's body melted into nothing and disappeared forever. Lindsay sat on her chair and pressed play on the Meet Me in St. Louis tape. She smiled as she watched Tootie joke about blood, violence, and Halloween. Carrot sat on the floor next to her with his tiny newborn paws. Lindsay's nose was tired from all the wiggling, but she did it one more time. She could hear James and Heather fighting downstairs. Her hair was completely gray, and she had lost a few teeth. Rapid footsteps came up from the stairwell, and Lindsay's eyebrows raised. Heidi was panting and heaving on the other side of the wall. I couldn't spend Halloween without you. She ran into Lindsay's room and stared at her ancient younger sister, horror in her eyes. Lindsay smiled. I'm hungry. I forgot about that ending.
It's a sad ending.
Yeah, it is sad, but creepy.
Thank you for that lovely reading, Monica.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Now we're going to discuss the story.
Yeah.
What we thought of it, what we liked, didn't like, what I'm probably going to change about it.
Yeah.
What I'm going to like amp up and tone down. And
I'm interested. Well, first off,
I'm interested.
I want to know what inspired this story.
My childhood.
Oh, cool.
Because we didn't do Halloween.
Yeah.
The crux of the story is about losing your childhood or like
Mm-hmm.
skipping your childhood.
Oh,
I don't know if
I
that came
see.
through clearly. And that's something I want to amp up. So there's the part where she sees her math homework and she thinks about all of her teachers and people at school. So those are two things I didn't have growing up because I was homeschooled.
Right.
And we didn't do Halloween. So it's sort
So
of,
you have that.
the idea is like she just kind of skips directly to adulthood
Yeah.
from childhood.
Oh.
So sort of like missing out on.
Yeah, you
parts of
do. I
childhood.
did feel that sadness, like when she looks at her homework and she's thinking about, her school and
Yeah.
her life as a kid, and she felt sad. So I felt it, but if you do want to amp it up, go for it, because then I would feel even more sad.
Right, exactly.
And I'd feel, it would be a little more depressing than just creepy.
Right, exactly.
Because I didn't even think about that when I was reading as she was changing into, an elderly woman or whatever, an older woman first. I didn't even think about like, oh, her childhood. There goes her childhood.
Right.
So I see what you're saying. Wow, that's sad.
It's so sad. So yeah, that's like the backstory or like the inspiration for it. Mm-hmm. So that's definitely. I guess we can just move into improvements, and that's one part I really want to make that clearer.
Yeah.
And I want to make some parts clear as far as like the when she's like when the Gyogi's controlling her parents. Mm-hmm. That part's pretty confusing.
Oh, when she's
as far as,
controlling her parents, like with the knife when she cuts.
Yeah, so she can
herself
only
or
control
whatever.
one of them at a time. So I kind of say it, but like I just want to make that part a little less murky. Exactly what's happening there.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking probably like she looks out instead of having the Gyogi totally leave, like she's still in the yard, and then you see her like muttering something in the distance as her parent is doing something weird in front of you. It was something like, okay, she's like mind controlling.
She's the one in control.
Right.
I thought she just
do one or something.
I thought she just maybe left some bad vibes in the house.
She left some bad
And then everybody
vibes.
was going crazy.
Yeah, because I had the one line that says she can only control
I
one of you
remember
at a
that
time.
now.
But so I just wanted to make that a little clearer. And then also I just want to define the magic better. Like I have it defined like on my project file, but it's not so much in the story as far as like the relationship between Carrot and the Gyogi, the Wendigo, and things like that. So I just want to define that relationship a little bit better. I mean, it's you want some mystery in the story, but I feel like it needs to be tightened up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's funny, there was one actual typo in there, and then the rest of them were just bad readings.
Yeah.
No, actually, there's two. There was two like actual typos.
Yeah. Did I still read them as typos? I don't remember.
You read one of them as a typo, and one of them you fixed.
I think I
as you
remember
were
fixing
reading.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, you fixed one of them, and then you just read the other one
Was
straight.
the
but
other
it's fine.
one where it was she instead of he?
I don't think so.
Okay,
There may have
then that
also
was
been
fine.
that. But there was something early on that was like it just
typo.
said two, and there should have been like another word there or something.
Just edit it all out, and then I'll reread those parts and make it really perfect.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
I can, people can know that I'm a
this
perfect
is
reader.
raw. This is just raw, unfiltered. And that's why we just wanted to do it like as is to sort of like talk about because this was just like the first draft. I have not like I made notes from when I submitted this to my writing group, and some of those changes I'm talking about are feedback I got.
Yeah.
On the story. So that's stuff I've been planning to do, but I just haven't returned to it.
Gotcha. Well, it's fun for me because, like I mentioned many times, I am not a writer. But it's cool to see the process of how something is made. I don't really care, like, what it is. I just love seeing how it's made. So when it's writing, it's not something that's actually, tangible that you're actually sculpting or creating.
Right.
You're just writing words. And I get to see part one or the first draft. And then you work through it to its final draft.
Right, exactly.
It's such a cool process.
The whole process. And like
So,
it's fun to see things develop. So maybe next year, we'll have you read the rewrite of the story. That'd be kind of interesting to like compare, like
go back to
these
it.
parts stayed the same. This one's totally different. Added a new character, or like took that character
we
out
should
or
do
something.
that. That'd be fun.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't even have to wait until next year if I did it earlier.
But Halloween.
I'm sorry.
I'm kidding.
Halloween is a state of mind.
Yeah.
not just a day in a month.
I do like how you have the St. Louis references. Because I remember when we watched it. Now I know who Tootie is. When we watched it, you told me, like, oh, this was my favorite part all the time, was the Halloween part.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be cool if Halloween was that.
I don't know. It was pretty,
just like
pretty
that.
Scary. They're like They like
Oh, that's true. They had like fire in the middle of the street.
They were like burning a pile of furniture in the middle of the street.
Oh,
Just like,
you're
what
right.
the heck? But it's set in like the early 1900s or late 1890s.
Back when kids did whatever they want.
Yeah, that's right. Back when kids had fun burning stuff.
That's true. Yeah. So did you ever feel sad when you watched Meet Me in St. Louis? Or not sad, but did you ever go like, oh, I want that. I wish I could do that. The Halloween
kind
part.
Of. It was one of the, like, when I think of Halloween, I think of that part in Meet Me in St. Louis.
Yeah. Oh.
And that's funny, like, now as an adult, like, I like games. I like Costume Quest.
The Halloween
things that are
ones.
set around Halloween.
Yeah.
It's like a way for me to experience Halloween.
No, exactly. You get to, like, live that little part of your childhood that missed out on.
Exactly. And it's not the same going to, like, adult Halloween parties. It's like, that's not the same.
Yeah, no, it's not.
That's just
it's just an
getting
excuse to drink with costumes.
Yeah, exactly. It's just getting drunk while wearing a costume.
Yeah.
So different from other parties.
It is. I agree. So, yeah, there you go. That was really enjoyable to read and enjoy again. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think that's it. If people want to, like, give feedback on the story for a future version of it, you can send that to feedback@mocosayscreate.com.
Yeah. I don't have any extra feedback just because you kind of shared everything already. And I was like, oh, I don't have. And I mean, I'm not a writer, so I can't really help you. I could do the basics, like the grammar help, because, I'm a teacher.
I'm a teacher.
But that's about it. Nice. But I like where it's going.
Yeah.
Keep it up, Corey.
Thank you. So a little preview for next week.
Yeah.
So we're trying different stuff right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take 3 paintings that Monica did in a similar style.
Yeah.
And the principle will be on iteration. Because the idea was you wanted sort of a fisheye. Well, I gave her I gave her like a challenge or something.
Yeah.
Like, was it last year or 2 years ago?
It was last year.
To like do, because she liked doing really colorful buildings, like like the ones in Norway.
In Europe, yeah.
And so I was like, okay, you should try doing like a semi fisheye lens kind of look where the buildings are kind of bending, like it's a globe bending off towards the edges, and then you have like your protagonist or what do you call it in the painting when you have like the main
center of the I know what
There's
you're talking about.
It. Yeah, the central figure or whatever you want to call it.
I can't think
like
of
in
it.
the center. Like one of them she's a tree, one of them it's a robot riding a bicycle. And what's the other one? Another robot riding a bicycle.
A tree?
The other one's a tree too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
This one's a tree. Yeah.
That one's a tree.
I don't remember what the third one is. But anyway, so basically we'll be kind of, and we'll post all the pictures on Instagram and on the blogs. That way you can look at them while listening to it, so you can kind of see what we're talking about. We're just going to break down the process of how she experimented with the perspective and also how she iterated.
Yeah.
Like she did one and then she moved to another one. She kind of learned things and took it into the next one. And I love that sort of deconstruction. So it'll be fun to analyze the
I'm
paintings
excited
like
to
as
share.
you iterated on that process.
Yeah, for sure. It will help me be better at explaining things too. Because I'm not very good at explaining when people ask me about my paintings. I'm just like, I just painted it.
She paints
But
things.
really, there's, it's a deeper story, I guess. There's a lot more to it. I just never share it. Because really, nobody cares.
Right.
So it'll be fun to like actually explain it and take time because, people who listen will want to take the time to understand it too. So I'm excited for that.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll move on to what we've been working on.
Yeah.
And since you were yapping for a while, it's my turn.
Your
I go
turn.
first.
I yapped the whole 30 minutes at
That's
the beginning.
true.
So
Shut up.
Now it's your turn.
So I'm working on the same things. I'm still working on a short horror story for my writing group, which Need to finish it before next Saturday. Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
you do.
Oh, boy.
Finish.
And then I also need to work on my radio drama. Now that I'm settled into my new job, I think we'll actually have more time.
Yeah, I think we're both settled into everything, finally. So we can now work around it easier.
Right, exactly. The first couple weeks at a new job, it's hard to fit in the writing. So I think I'm locked in now, so I can focus on it better and get stuff done.
Yes.
What about you?
Same thing, really.
You're working on a radio drama and a short horror story?
I mean, no, same thing as last week.
I know.
Yes, I have my radio drama because I'm Curry Wallace. No, I'm just doing, don't hit me. I'm just doing the photography stuff still and teaching kiddos. And my Inktober, I finally posted 2 this week. I wanted to post 3, but that's okay. I got the 2. This week I'm going to do more just because my work is a little lighter. So yeah, that's kind of the goal for the week.
Nice.
And with inspirations, I can't think of anything this week, honestly. But I have to say that I'm really inspired by the Halloween vibes. Yeah. Just because it's getting closer, you know? Mm-hmm. And we have a Halloween story today. So I just love the feeling of fall. Like, I went for a run this morning and it felt like fall. And I'm like, yes. So it's not really inspiration, but it makes me happy. And it inspires my drawings because I'm noticing that my drawings are getting dark. Like Halloween style dark. So what about you?
I'm inspired by the Key of Orange Inktobers.
Aww.
No, seriously, like she's been doing inks of mostly like a road leading into a forest.
Yeah. Oh, that idea came from you. Remember?
That's true. I give her the little nuggets of an idea, and then she runs with it. Well, I guess not all of them have a road, but they all have like trees. Like there's one with a robot sitting by a little campfire, which I'm going to get framed in my room.
I'll sign it for you.
Oh, thank you. They're really cool. Like they're like cute and creepy.
Yeah.
The cute, creepy vibe.
Yes, I love.
So you should definitely look up the Key of Orange Instagram or just keyoforange.com.
Shout out to me.
Shout out to you.
Yay. Yeah, I'm going to try to do a lot more. Like I said, the Halloween vibes are just all up in all the places.
Yeah. They're up in all the places.
Yeah. So thanks. Well, I guess that about sums it up for today. We hope you enjoyed this special MoCo Says Create. And thanks for listening to the 10th episode.
Yeah,
we did it.
10 episodes. That's
we
right.
Did it. Let's go for another 10. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
And until next time,
MoCo Says Create.